as a kid, I wouldn't say I was accident prone, but I was pretty much a dumbass. Like, hey, it's true. Like, I've been in so many accidents, it's not really funny. Like, it is funny, but it's not really funny. So as a kid, the one thing that I really enjoyed was I destroyed my very first bike, or my second bike. So I got this bike on Christmas Day. It was like, I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I was so stoked to get it. Like, my sister woke me up in the morning. She's like, "Trey, it's Christmas. Let's open our presents." I was like, do I have to really wake up? And I was like, so I was like, I got up, went downstairs, saw my bike in the car. I was like, yeah, my new bike. I was like, and it's like, so I went outside and tried to ride it around. Like, oh, this is gonna be fucking awesome. So that was like the first bike, and like this wasn't my first bike. This was I had a bike with training wheels before that. I had to learn before I could ride this better bike. So my bike with training wheels, when I started riding a bike, I was fucking terrible. Like, I didn't know how to brake. Like, I forgot, like, pedal, and it was like, how do I brake? Oh, I can't brake. So I just, like, that's what I always did. So first bad experience was I was driving down the street, and I was, like, getting some speed going up and down the bone that we have on the street in the cul-de-sac, and I just flat out run into a lady's garage, right? Just hit it and make a big-ass dent in the bottom corner of it, and with the tread mark on it. And, like, I'm turning around my bike to, like, ride away so I can go real fast, and this old lady walks up, looking at me like, "What the hell did you just do?" He's like, "I'm gonna call the police if you don't clean this up." I was like, okay. And so, like, I'm about to pedal away, and she's like, "I'm gonna tell your mother." I was like, shit. Because here's the thing. You don't piss off a black mother because she's the one that brought you to the world and she can take you out. So I was like, I ain't fucking with this. So I'm just like, okay, I'll go with you. And so I rode back, got on my bike, walked up. She gave me a ride. She's like, I wiped it off. And like, I didn't put the dent on because I was like, that's too much gear for me. So I just cleaned it off, apologized, rode home and ran into my garage door the same day. So it was like, either way, I'd lose something. So a couple years later, I'm riding my bike. And like, I don't know what happened. I just flat out run into a parked car. Like, I just hit it. Like, I saw the car, I was riding, and I just hit it. I don't know what happened. That's part of me being a dumbass right there. I just hit the car. And so, months after that, right, I have a new bike, I'm riding around everything. And so, I'm riding down the street, and Matthew lives on the street, right? So, our street has a lot of hills that you can go up and down on driveways. And so, I was going up and down the hills and stuff, riding my bike. I have enjoyed my time like this, just riding, and then I coming down a hill. I go up a hill, come down. As I'm coming down, I don't notice anything. So like, I'm coming down, and it just goes black for a second. And what I did notice is that I hit a car. Like, the car didn't hit me. I hit the car. So I hit the side of the car in the front driver's side fender. And kid you not, as a kid, I was fat and short and black. So what the person saw, they probably saw like a black blob flying across the car because I flew over the hood of that car. So I hit the car and fly over, and I didn't know anything, so I blacked out. And so I remember waking up on the other side of the street because that way I knew. I ended up waking up on the street, and this guy was like, he picked me up somehow. I was like, I'm fat, I don't know what he did, but he picked me up and like he moved me into the back of the car, and like and then next to me they just put my bike frame, which is like fucked up because it's just destroyed, and my front tire is just like bent to shit. So I was like, okay, my bike's destroyed. So, and then they turn around and drive me back up the street to my house because they know where I live. They're actually my neighbors, so they kind of fucked up the whole relationship with us. So they drive me back up to my house, and like I go inside. Miraculously, there's nothing wrong with me. Like I got like 2 or 3 scratches, and that's it. But I go inside, sit around for a couple minutes. Then I go upstairs to talk to my older sister Erica and Maya, and they're hanging out in Erica's room. Verbatim, this is what they said: "You hit a car driving down the street. You're such a dumbass. Like we would feel sorry for you if like the car hit you, but you hit the car. This is funny. Like we're not gonna stop laughing about this." And sometimes they still tease me about it to this day. So it's like okay. And like I didn't really like it discourage me about riding bikes anymore because after that, once they said that, I was like, I'm never gonna ride a bike again. And I was like moping around and shit for about a month. And I started riding my dad's bike, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. So I kept riding bikes. So I never really let my near-death or knee-mangled experiences about me like encourage who I'm gonna be. So no matter what, I'm just gonna keep riding. Like a couple weeks ago, we went to Penndale State Park with Kevin, Allen, and Matthew over here. I flew with my bike like we were going downhill like doing like 30 miles an hour, and I flew with my bike down into a ravine. Well, I was almost in the ravine, but flew with my bike, landed on my arm, and just like rolled down the hill for about 20 feet. And like it hurt to move my arm for the next 2 days. So like, God. So I was like hooked up on drugs and stuff. But like, so I could have died. Like I really could have died then. But I was so lucky to have those 3 guys to help me out and keep me going. So, so no matter what really happens with me in my life, no matter like if I'm gonna ride a bike or anything, I'm just gonna keep on pedaling because it's the only thing I really can do. Like if I stop and let's say I fall off the bike and stop, then what the fuck? I gotta get up and get home, right? So, so